share my screen so we can go in here. All right, can everybody see my screen? Good to go. Welcome, everybody. Thank you again for joining us for tonight's Startup Culture in the Classroom event. We're excited to see you. It's been it's been several months since we've had one of these events. We're excited to, these events used to be in person, but we're excited to continue doing these virtually. That gives the opportunity for so many educators from across the state to be able to participate in this event and learn from some of the great leaders in entrepreneurial space, startup space, small business space around Arkansas. My name is Caleb Talley. I'm with the Startup Junkie Foundation. For those of you who may not be familiar with Startup Junkie, we are a mission-driven organization based here in Northwest Arkansas that exists to serve entrepreneurs, innovators, small business owners, and the like. Sorry, Siri's trying to talk to me here. And I will go ahead and go to our next slide. Thank you for participating. And so what we do is, we offer no-cost consulting, events, workshops, those types of things with the goal of empowering innovators and entrepreneurs. And so we're here tonight to hopefully inspire you to bring entrepreneurship to the classroom. I'm joined by my friends from the University of Arkansas's Bessie B. Moore Center for Economic Education. In Economics, Arkansas. And so I'm going to turn it over to Rita with the Bessie B. Moore Center to introduce herself.
So thank you, teachers. We're so happy that you're here to learn about primarily Arkansas entrepreneurs, at least people participating in entrepreneurship on using Arkansas resources. We're going to claim the Mississippi River with that. Anyway, we have an exciting program, and we want you to learn about what creative thinkers are doing to use Arkansas's natural resources to entertain and educate Arkansans. So we appreciate you being here from the various school districts. We want to reach everyone. So like Caleb said, it'll be recorded. You can use it with your students. There will be videos. There will be Q&A sessions. A lot of the entrepreneurs would jump on Zoom and join your class. So there's lots of opportunities for you here. So thank you for joining us today. Marcia?
Hello, everyone. I think some of us were just together for an hour webinar about entrepreneurship, oddly enough, where we met a young man in Central Arkansas and heard his story. So we're excited to hear and meet some additional entrepreneurs this evening. At the end, I'll share a link that will allow you to receive a free resource and a nice little surprise for joining tonight. So thank you all for being here.
All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna next slide. All right, here's our agenda. So that was our introductions. We're gonna roll into some videos. I'm gonna introduce you to the folks that we'll be meeting this evening, and then I'll give you all the opportunity to ask them questions that you might have, what burning questions. And then of course, as we did last year, we're gonna have some trivia based on what you learned tonight for an opportunity to get some gift cards. And so without further ado, we'll start off with Quapaw Canoes. And is Mr. Rusky on the call with us? I did not see him.
I'm looking and I have not found it. I texted the number that I found.
He may be held up. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to switch over to his video because it would not cooperate with us via our slides. So here's a video from John Rusky. He has Quapaw Canoes. I'm hoping he will join us here in a moment so he can speak to everyone. But just to give you an introduction to his small business, which is, operates on the Mississippi River. And without further ado.
Fell into being in the right place at the right time. and became the first curator at the Blues Museum. Even though I was in probably the best job I could ever imagine, I could feel my career in the museum was coming to an end, and that is I had to get outdoors because it was driving me nutty being indoors all the time. I bought a canoe and started offering guided canoe trips, one person at a time in a 17-foot aluminum Grumman canoe on the biggest river in North America, and it took off. By 1999, that one Grumman had been joined by 10 more Grummans and a giant cypress strip Voyager canoe, which we built right in this building. Well, river kind of drifted into our operations here out of the north.
You know, it was something that I was missing in my life. I had a pretty good life. You know, I was a football star, an athlete. I went to a very small school, the University of Central Missouri. I played cornerback, where I was a 4-year All-American. I was Defensive Player of the Year of the whole conference in 1988, and I actually had an opportunity to play pro football. So I had a, pretty good thing going. But I just knew there was something missing, and I never really understood what it was. But I always went down to the river no matter what, good things, bad things. And one day I was down on the river, and I ran into one of John's Voyager canoes that was being used by a friend of his. So we started talking, paddling together, and I was offered the opportunity to come down to Clarksdale. And I realized what I've been looking for has been in front of me my whole time.
Well, Quapaw literally means the downstream people, and that's the direction we like going on the Mississippi River. Our mission is to share the raw, wild, lower Mississippi River with anyone who wants to see it. These islands are created by the flooding of the river. You won't have a sandbar without a flooding river.
The power, the volume of water is usually what surprises people. And then you add in a few elements like the wind that can really change the makeup of the river. So you always respect the river, and you always know when it's time to let the river be itself.
You become interdependent on each other, like a team of climbers. It becomes a matter of life and death on the river.
The Voyager canoes that we build here, these boats, they have no right angles on them. They're fluid with the water, and basically they're the most equipped vessel to have on the Mississippi River.
River Gator is a million words describing the lower Mississippi River for paddlers.
It's years of work from John Ruskey, and we just completed it.
It's still about exploration, but the discovery part is not discovering where you want to build the next town or where you're going to find the place for your homestead. This is about the exploration of the wild interior of America, and at the same time exploring your wild inner landscape for the sake of self-understanding and ability to make good decisions in the future.
John Ruskey is a great leader. He understands the wild beauty of this place, and he wants people to know it personally so we can take care of it for the future.
The river flows for...
All right, and that's going to be our stopping point on that one. So again, I don't know if John's with us. John, if you are here, please let yourself be known. I haven't seen you yet come in. I don't see him. So apologize. John must have gotten held up or something happened. Something always, you never know. Without further ado, I'll go to our next presenter. I'm sorry, Steve, you didn't get somebody before you there unintentionally. Well, we unintentionally went from water to flying. And so while John created a thriving small business on the Mississippi River, which has garnered him a lot of attention, across the country. John was actually also on Parts Unknown with Anthony Bourdain several years ago, taking Anthony Bourdain up the Mississippi River on his canoes that they make there. So hopefully if he comes on at some point in time, we'll turn it over to him and let him speak. But now I'm going to turn it over to Fly Oz. We're going to watch this video. And Fly Oz is not necessarily a small business or your traditional startup, but they are really advocating and working within this aviation space that is growing in Northwest Arkansas and beyond our state. So I'll play this video to introduce you.
It's this really visceral experience. You really feel what's going on in one of these little things. You feel the airplane, you feel the air. It's completely different from riding in an airliner or something like that. I've always loved airplanes. I'd look up and see them flying over and think it was awesome. And when I was a kid, I thought maybe I'd want to design them. But I really decided I'd rather fly, And I think I did learn to fly because it offered me an opportunity to do something with my hands, to do something that's outdoorsy, to really be out in nature. I love to teach, but there is nothing like just getting out and getting to fly on your own. There's a whole lot of freedom in doing that. Backcountry aviation is the epitome of stick and rudder flying. There's not a lot of GPS usage. And some aircraft, for example, our Cubs, I might not even look at the airspeed indicator the whole flight. I fly it by feel. Arkansas is an incredible place to fly. We've got backcountry flying to offer here just as good as some of those other states. You can access incredible places that are difficult or impossible in some cases to access otherwise. Getting out and mountain biking, rock climbing, camping, and really seeing what Arkansas has to offer. Backcountry aviation, it's exciting. Every day it's something new. You're not dealing with air traffic control. You're not dealing with programming your GPS and all this stuff. You can go where you want to go as long as you're careful and you plan for it within limits. You can land where you want to land. The kind of flying we're doing, you're flying to the edge of what the aircraft is capable of doing. And to really do that, you just got to know the airplane. You got to know how it feels. This is really awesome. That's honestly still my first thought for pretty much every flight I take off on. Arkansas is an incredible place. There's a huge surge in interest in backcountry flying here, and I've gotten to really be a part of that from ground level. That's a really incredible opportunity.
And from Fly Oz, we have Steve. And Steve, I'll let you, say a few words there next.
So an old video, but a good one. We actually have quite a few, some newer stuff as well too. So let me talk a little bit about what Fly Oz is first before I jump into anything else. The Fly Oz is basically a network of airstrips, of resources, private resources that are sort of scattered all about Arkansas, primarily in the Northwest region. So We have oftentimes what happens in small plane aviation, a landowner has enough property that he builds a little grass runway. And that grass runway might be just something that's by his home. This is a throwback to aviation from 75 to 100 years ago. And people kept their planes at home. So he might build a little airstrip right by his house or something like that. But what's happened a little bit since then is people are building airstrips near other recreational opportunities. Arkansas happens to have a whole bunch of really cool places to go and land on these little airstrips. So what we did at Fly Oz, really kind of spearheaded by Chip Gibbons and Chad Cox and some of these other folks, I kind of came in late to the movie, is we built a directory or a network of all these airstrips, put them all together. So for example, I was with a man from St. Louis today who flew down in his airplane and wanted to tour this entire area. So Chip developed a tool called the Airfield Guide, which allows us to find all of these places to go, learn whether we need to call the owner first before we land there, and things like that. So it's a really neat collection of these resources, and it's a whole lot of fun. So I have a really cool job because when I get out of the plane, everybody's always really happy and they're smiling and they just think it's just amazing. And the thing about Arkansas, I'm from Kansas City. I moved here about a year ago, although I was born in Pittsburgh, 80 miles from here. The thing about Arkansas is that in a few minutes in an airplane, you go from being in the town to being over solid forest. And it just blows people's mind that happens. So when you can take people out and introduce them to that type of environment, it creates a lot of opportunities. So there's opportunities at these individual airstrips to offer things. Some of you might be familiar with Bird's Adventure Center down in the kind of more south central part of Arkansas. And Bird's is a bunch of little runways. And but they also cater to the four-wheel drive crowd, the hiking crowd, a lot of other stuff. There are all kinds of state and national forest lands that back right up to their property. So they've connected that recreational opportunity between aviation to the resources, and they've made a business out of doing that. So there are a lot of opportunities. Obviously, flying itself is a great business. It's great to fly. I love instructing. That's my favorite part of flying. I've been flying since 2000. I've been instructing, been flying since 97. And for me, it's been the most rewarding thing. It gives me the ability to introduce something new to other people. And I'd say if it interests you at all, it's still right now is a very hot profession. And there's a lot of opportunity in and around aviation. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. My terrible daily job is I get up and I fly around to cool places with cool people, and then I have to go home at night. So it's really not too bad. But I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Does that cover what you want to hear, Caleb? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll open it up for some Q&A at the end there. If anybody has any questions specifically about, how someone might get into that sort of space.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Next up, we don't have a video. Well, I'm just trying to replay that one. But we have with us Toby Teeter from the Collaborative. The Collaborative is a brand new, extension of the University of Arkansas. Toby is relatively new to Northwest Arkansas. Comes to us from Missouri, and we're excited to have him here in Northwest Arkansas. So I'm not going to say anything else. I'll turn it over to you, Toby, to take it from there.
Well, welcome everybody. Again, my name is Toby Teeter with the University of Arkansas. About a year ago, there was a press release about a $195 million gift from the Walton Foundation to the University of Arkansas, centered around innovation. Really, in a nutshell, we're talking about a spoken hub model where we take the University of Arkansas and turn it into a catalyst for innovation, entrepreneurship, commercialization of intellectual properties to do really amazing work here in Arkansas. A part of that gift is to stand up a presence in Bentonville. The Bentonville piece is now called the Collaborative. It's on 5th Street. It's tucked behind the Momentary in 8th Street Market. We're piloting projects over the course of the next 4 years where we will be focused on very niche clusters of innovation. One of the first ones we're launching is outdoor recreation. So we're doing an outdoor recreation project starting in January. We called the Greenhouse Outdoor Recreation Program, also known as GORP. In that's a two-phase project. One is an intense 12-week product incubator. And then two is to serve the existing outdoor rec and outdoor rec facing hospitality industries in Northwest Arkansas with co-working spaces, consultation services, workshops, and community building events. Our funders, the Waltons, want to make this a premier destination for ecotourism and really beef up all things outdoor recreation, startups, products, software, and again, on the hospitality that faces outdoor rec, the true ecotourism that Steve just mentioned, the ability to fly into Bentonville and then hop and really explore Northwest Arkansas. By the day, we're finding startups and potential startups, some of which are actually located in other parts of the United States that are considering relocating to Bentonville because of the culture that's being cultivated by all this. It's a really, really fast-moving, curated, purposeful economic development mechanism where NWA Council and other stakeholders are really bolting on amenities that attract diverse young talent, especially in their 20s and 30s, that want to move to in and around Northwest Arkansas and do entrepreneurship in the outdoor rec space. It's an excellent opportunity to engage. There's a K-12 component of all this. I'm eager to actually have those conversations one-on-one. And if and when we can get you all to Bentonville, I'd love to give you guys tours of the collaborative. Besides outdoor recreation, we're also going to stand up a software incubator. They'll also going to do a biomedical and biodesign incubator. There's an emerging field of electric vertical takeoff landing of vehicles, EVTOL, here in Bentonville. There's meetings where there's opportunities where we're going to attract additional industry and shore up University of Arkansas's research presence in aerospace. Those are the kind of conversations that are happening in real time. And as more innovation clusters come together here in Bentonville, the collaborative will focus on those as well. And again, half of this is inward facing, where we take and we actually change the culture and the structure of the University of Arkansas to be a catalyst for economic development driven innovation and entrepreneurship, particularly the ability to actually commercialize technology developed by the University of Arkansas in collaboration with industry. Oh, and a side note, I know John Ruskey wasn't on the call, but I just canoed with John and Mark Peoples a few weeks ago down in Clarksdale, Mississippi, the Quapaw Canoe Company. Small world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for that, Toby. That was fantastic. And last call for John Ruskey. Are you here? All right. Maybe not. All right. So now, notwithstanding that John couldn't be with us this evening, we'll open it up to Q&A, and I'll actually stop screen sharing so that if you are interested in asking a question, you're welcome to drop your question in the chat. I'll ask it out loud to whoever you address it to, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question out loud to these two gentlemen. Not everybody at once.
Well, maybe Toby could just tell us a little bit about his trip in the Quapaw Canoe.
You bet. I actually would love to. So there's a really special thing happening in the Delta. I'm sure some of you represent that area, so I want to speak for you. But I had a really, really interesting emotional experience in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where a group of entrepreneurs got together to talk about rural ecosystem development and entrepreneurship. One of our activities was actually with the Quapaw Canoe. We got to canoe the Mississippi River. We actually went to an island and camped out for like a day camp, and then we canoed back to the shore. It was a group of individuals from all over the Delta, from Jackson, Mississippi to Jonesboro. And it was really interesting conversations. Yopon Tea Company was Delta Dirt, a lot of rural ecosystem, farm to table kind of entrepreneurship was happening in that region. And it was just a way to connect and do an outdoor activity. I actually had the opportunity after I met with the Quapaw canoe people to see the No Reservation with Anthony Bourdain touring the Delta, and it was really neat.
It's exciting. We do have a couple of questions coming in here from our audience. Barbara asks a question, I'm assuming is for Steve. How do you get licensed for flying? Do you offer classes? How much do they cost? And are there other opportunities in that space, such as mechanics for airplanes? What are, and I'll add to that, opportunities for careers within that?
So like many things, it's very broad. Because I mean, first thing, the simple question, because everybody wants to know, what does it take to learn to fly? And sometimes people answer money, but in my experience as a flight instructor, almost anyone can learn to fly, just like almost anyone can drive. In fact, I think it's easier to fly than drive. So there's less things to hit moving around on the streets, especially in Northwest Arkansas. So flying, it's very simple to learn to fly. It takes 40 hours of 20 hours of dual instruction and 20 hours of solo time in an airplane. And so it's really only 40 logged hours in order to get a pilot's license. So it's not too extensive. Some states actually have 40-hour requirements for getting your driver's license now for young folks. I know Connecticut, when we were out there, had one of those. So, and that gives you a private pilot's license, which is a little bit of a license to learn. With 250 hours under your belt, you can get a commercial pilot rating, and that opens a lot of opportunities for you instructing and doing other things. Flight instructors are always in demand. So at the flight, we have a really active flight school in Bentonville, Thadenfield, and we know that they're going to be there. When we take a flight instructor in, we know they're going to be there between 12 to 18 months, and they're going to move on to the airlines, or they're going to go fly private jets for somebody else. It's just kind of a rite of passage. So when you hire somebody, you can't get it in your head that this person's going to be here all that long. You have to, help them go where they intend to go, and take advantage of their skills to help other people head in that direction as well too. So it's really it's a neat process if you think about it that way. It can frustrate you from a hiring standpoint, obviously, but that's just kind of how that works. Aviation maintenance, huge hole in that area right now, whether it's working on Boeing 747s or working on small airplanes. There's lots of opportunity in those areas, different areas. There's plenty of schools around the country that provide that sort of thing as well too. There are opportunities in aviation that are unrelated to either flying or mechanicking as well too, providing services to pilots, washing airplanes, all kinds of different things. So there's a lot of things out there. Hopefully that answers the question.
And I'll add to that too. For those that are in Northwest Arkansas, the Fayetteville Public Library just opened a new extension with an innovation center that has flight simulators that can be used for free by the public. So if you're not in Northwest Arkansas, I would go petition your public library to pursue getting flight simulators for students to learn on their downtime. And Deborah, who's a gifted and talented teacher, K through 12, asked, does Fly Oz know of landing areas in Northeast Arkansas?
So here's the thing. There are absolutely places to land in Northeast Arkansas. Whether or not we have cataloged them or not is the question. So we developed this program. You can actually, if you don't care if I share my screen for a quick second.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me give you
I'll show you
sharing
really
capabilities.
Quick. And then you can look at it. I'm going to pull it up real quick and see if I can make this happen. Let's go here to this and go boom. Hopefully you see a big screen with a bunch of disclaimers on it. And I'm going to go do that. So this is the program and the network of airstrips that we've created. You can see it's not just Northwest Arkansas, but if we zoom in here, this application was developed by Chip Gibbons and Rita's high school classmate, and the original focus was really to categorize strips in the Northwest Arkansas area. So if you look over here, we don't have anything too far to the east. So we've got something over here in in Batesville, just over here. We were over here today, actually, in this part of the country. So this is a free resource. You can go to airfield.guide instead of like .com or .this and that, and you can get on there and find out about these airstrips and where they're at. Almost 90% of these are privately held. So this is on private lands, but landowners have shared with us the right to land there. Arkansas has in their statutes a thing called a recreational use statute, which the great thing about a recreational use statute is if somebody comes on your property and you're not charging them to be there and something bad happens, you as a landowner don't get sued. So what it does is it really encourages private landowners for things like snowmobiling, if you do that in Arkansas, or hunting, or any of these other things all fall under a public use statute. And aviation, not too many years ago, was listed on that as well too. So it's opened up a lot of opportunity for us in that regard. But check out the Airfield Guide, kind of an interesting thing. There's a whole lot of additional information buried in that you can see as well. I just want to wear you out with it.
And what that tells me is that there's opportunity there for someone in East Arkansas to, develop airstrip, to add to that guide, and then opportunities within there for, services to people that are coming in, whether that be, canoeing, mountain biking, or things like that. So there's opportunity in that.
Right, and one of the things we do at Fly Oz, if you'll see this on the Airfield Guide, you can go in there and say, hey, I want to fly to a place that has mountain biking, or I want to fly to a place that has canoeing. There's an outfitter, a Kings River outfitter down. In fact, it's the Kings River outfitters. They, we could fly to their airstrip, call them, they'll pick you up and take you down, let you float the river and fly back out of there. So instead of driving 2.5 hours, it's about a 20-minute flight. So it's kind of a neat experience. There's a lot of things like that are going on here, and a lot of opportunity, whether you're paddling a canoe to do that or being a flight instructor helping somebody kind of learn those experiences for the first time.
Awesome. And Rita asked in the comments, tell us a little bit about Thaden Field, the purpose and events, activities there at that space.
So Thaden Field is kind of the hub of everything that we do. So Louise Thaden, pretty famous Northwest Arkansas aviator, and it's her name that for a lot of people know it as the downtown Bentonville Airport. And so all of these things, Fly Oz, the Louise restaurant, which you've been to Bentonville, you may have gone to. We have a flight school that's based inside of Thaden Field. And all of it's sort of housed in this big structure that's connected to this beautiful park just to the north of us, Osage Park, which was just finally had its official grand opening, and last week, a couple of weekends ago. Mm-hmm. So all of it's kind of the central hub for all of these activities. That's where I work, where I'm based out of, where our flight instructor activities are based out of, and of course, like most of the stuff here in Northwest Arkansas, there's great bike trails and hiking trails and things that connect us right to that place. So you can branch out from there and go in any direction. We rent kayaks and canoes, so you can paddle around on Lake Bentonville. Not as exciting as paddling on the Mississippi River, maybe, but still a fun experience. The park has been really greatly utilized by a lot of families, and it's with archery and everything else that it has there. It's truly a unique place.
I saw Buffalo Outdoor Center canoe locked up there.
Yes, you did. That's because Austin Albers, who owns Buffalo Outdoor Center, who's also an aviator and also has a runway at Buffalo Outdoor Center. You can go land on. In fact, we landed there today as part of this little excursion we were on. He had some canoes that had been smashed up beyond recognition, so he gave them to us. So those were kind of a patched up hand-me-down canoes that we got from Buffalo Outdoor Center. They probably would have got some nice ones. But that's a really cool place. Austin does a really good job of catering to folks that fly in there, and with all of those things that he has to offer at Buffalo Outdoor Center, which is a really amazing place, and just in the world's coolest spot there by the Buffalo River.
So we could get lots of businesses all over the state, or people even creating businesses, for whatever resources are there, be it hiking, canoeing, bird watching.
Certainly, and I think it's important to one of the things about aviation is a lot of people don't realize there's only 600,000 pilots. Okay, there are about 300,000 of us flying. So if you think about that, that's a very small percentage of 330 or 400 million people or whatever we are today. It's a pretty small percentage of the population. So we're always going to need more of them. And but if you are trying to entrepreneur just the pilots, you've got to get them together to someplace interesting because it's a fairly small group by and large.
And Renita has a question for Toby. She asks, who would hold the patent for any intellectual properties developed at the collaborative?
Sure. So the general rule of, as far as university development of intellectual property is if you're a paid staff member, U of A owns the intellectual property. If you're a student, for instance, you as the student own the intellectual property. But most of the technology that is developed is actually through joint research agreements with the University of Arkansas, where that is established via contract. It's more often, so like in the Big Ten region of the United States, those universities are actually working with industry to develop and solve problems. And that is the step the University of Arkansas is heading towards through this grant at Fayetteville, standing up the iCubeR Spoke and Hub model for innovation, including the collaborative, which is a spoke of the I3R. But most intellectual property that will be developed is actually through joint agreements with a civic company. And back to some of what Steve was mentioning as far as the job opportunities in Northwest Arkansas, there's a huge shift happening right now with drone technology and the ability to do vertical takeoff and landing of both product and people. This is not a 15 years from now kind of thing. There is projects that are being FAA approved as early as 2023, where publicly traded companies will be moving people from airports to city centers using vertiports. Picture drones, oversized drones moving people and product. Walmart has acquired a company that does this. They've invested in another company that's doing this. And there's actually active R&D happening in and around Bentonville. There'll be students involved. There'll be the University of Arkansas involved. And this will be an industry. The movement of product using flight will be a big part of America in the coming decades. And University of Arkansas and hopefully Northwest Arkansas will be leading those kind of logistics changes.
It is super exciting. It's really, just as an aviation lover and a tech guy, it is that stuff is I just geek out on it continuously.
There's a semi-secret conference called UP. It's very tight, very small room kind of thing. Every other year is in Bentonville. The other year, I believe it's in Fort Worth. The Waltons host 1 year, and I believe the Pro family hosts the other year. The next one is, I think, the spring. The September version got delayed until, I think, April of 2022. It'll be here. The who's who of aviation will slide into Bentonville and have a very quiet, very, very important conference about the future of flight. Those are the kind of rooms that are being built at Dayton Field. It's absolutely amazing.
And Deborah also asked, what type of computer tech related jobs are opening there at the collaborative?
Not necessarily jobs, but reality is this is where the STEM happens. We are working with Ignite programs, CAPS programs at the high school level across our region to feed into and actually have real community interactions here at the collaborative between the University of Arkansas and for instance, Bentonville Ignite. This is a situation where we're trying to expose the entire ecosystem of innovation from K-12 and create opportunity for women and people of color to actually participate in 21st century economic development. There is a shift happening where our economy in Northwest Arkansas specifically is going to broaden beyond logistics and retail. It's very, very purposeful. That's part of the reason why the collaborative is here in Bentonville. And there's going to be a huge opportunity to invite students from K-12 that flow through the U of A to participate in STEM fields. And computer science, data science is actually a big part of the collaborative. There's going to be a data visualization lab right behind me where we'll do big data projects, AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, how it works with outdoor rec is going to be Those kind of experiments will be happening here, as well as experiential retail, the ability to walk through and shop using goggles to actually try on and see three-dimensional product. Those are the kind of projects that Walmart's involved in and the University of Arkansas is involved in.
Awesome. We got time for a couple more questions if anybody has them.
Teachers, what about a question to you? Do you see your students having interest in learning more about these opportunities? Don't everyone answer at once.
I would love to learn ways about how to further engage with the school districts across the state to connect really practical, exciting components to STEM education. Another project that's very active at the University of Arkansas is Tesseract. It's the gaming program. We're not talking about playing games, we're talking about making games. The future of everything from education is going to be kind of based on a lot of game theory. There's going to be opportunities going forward where more and more K-12 students and faculty will be able to participate in game development. Those are the kind of programs that might spike some interest in STEM education.
Getting a lot of yeses in the chats now.
I was going to say, they're just slow coming in.
Heath City students in aviation mechanics program. That's awesome. And Barbara Henry said it'd be cool to have a rep come and talk with students about these opportunities. I bet that could be arranged. Gaming, yes. Or by the former Eaker Air Force Base. Every kid loves gaming. That is true. Awesome. So yeah, a lot of interest in those opportunities. Absolutely. Well, if nobody has any additional questions, I want to thank Steve and Toby so much for joining us today. It's a fantastic presentation. We really appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to speak with our audience here. It's very interesting. And we are going to jump into the trivia portion, which, we kind of put together based on some information from y'all's websites and information y'all gave us and information from the videos. So y'all are more than welcome to stay and watch the trivia with the teachers if you like, or you're more than welcome to go about your evening. But again, just want to thank y'all so much.
Yes, thank you. And you all can't play because you have an advantage.
But Toby, you mentioned connecting with the school districts. If it's okay with you, I'll copy your email. I'll copy both of your emails onto when we send out this video link to our teachers and the resources associated with it. We'll copy y'all so that they can reach out to y'all if that's okay with y'all.
Yes, that's great.
Awesome. All right, let's play some trivia. Okay, I'm going to get this pulled up. I'm actually going to run and grab my charger real quick. So, Rita, if you don't mind entertaining our audience for 5 seconds.
Okay, I will just say, educators, we're planning out, we have 4 of these programs in mind for the year. And the next one coming up is on the creatives. So we're going to be looking at the creatives in Arkansas. We really want to reach out and get entrepreneurs from across the state as much as possible. We have a lot happening in Northwest Arkansas, but there are pockets elsewhere and we want to include them. So please, number 1, advertise, share with colleagues, and attend the upcoming program, which will be on November 8th. Information will be coming out soon on that. And then give us the names of businesses in your area so we can invite them to participate and join, because we want to feature entrepreneurs from all over. Or tell us topics, tell us what your students would be interested in. Maybe we could do something on the gaming and get some people together on that topic if it's something of interest to your students. So please let us know what direction to go in the future. Okay, are you charged, Caleb?
I'm back. All right. So I'm going to show you how this game works. So if everyone will take out their phone, or you can do this on your desktop, but it's easier to do it on your phone because your phone is kind of like your game piece. Think Jeopardy, your clicker. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what you need to do. If I can get it to pull up. All right. So go to kahoot.it. And so this is what you will see on your screen on your phone when you type in your trivia or type in kahoot.it on your phone. You'll pull this up right here. Oh. And then you're going to get a game pin. And that game pin will be everybody see this that's loading slowly?
I see it. I don't see a game pin yet.
It's loading very slowly. Let me try this again.
I thought it was just my computer today.
Well,
You're giving us time to study the questions.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Kahoot is loading classic. It really is wanting to go so slow. All right, here we go. Let me share my screen again. All right, so go to kahoot.it and then type in that pin right there. And your name, as you select it, will pop up on our screen. All right, got Nikki, Barb, Becky. Everybody's coming in now. I'm gonna have a lot of contestants today. We had discussed having our gift cards be, local Arkansas things, but given that everyone's so spread out across the state, this session we're going to roll with gift cards to Amazon so that you can purchase whatever you like. So first place will get $30, second place will get $20, and third place will get $10. And then our upcoming sessions will be a little more intentional about getting some local awesome small business gift cards as our prizes. That's on me. I didn't find awesome gift cards for y'all. I'm sorry, but you can buy local stuff on Amazon. All right, so everybody in that wants to play. I'm gonna count to 5. All right. I'm gonna roll. Somebody stop me if you want to play and you are not in there. All right, starting now. So these questions are based off some stuff we learned today. Here we go. Kahoot at work. I'm at work. Y'all are at home probably. 3, 2, 1. Which entrepreneur was pulled by the largest river in the United States and bought a canoe to start his business? Was it Mike Mills, John Ruskey and Mark River Peoples, Chip Gibbons, or Mike Epps? The correct answer is John Ruskey, who was absent from today's event. All right. I should have said this before, but the speed at which you answer also contributes to your point total there. So if you're quicker on the draw, you got better chances. True or false? GORP slang acronym is trail mix, originally derived from good old raisin and peanuts. Is that true or false? In addition to what it is within the collaborative. I should have put them in a different order. True. The answer is true. Good old raisin and peanuts. Nikki's in the lead. Next question. What company builds Cypress Strip Voyager canoes used for business? Is it the Buffalo River Outdoor Center, Wapaw Canoes, Gaston's, or Walmart? Three, two, one. The answer is Quapaw Canoes. All right, Becky's climbing up the ladder. Nikki holds on to the lead. True or false? Quapaw Canoe is compared to jazz music, and this is from the video we watched earlier.
Which the entire video is really nice. We shortened it for tonight, so feel free to watch the entire.
Yeah, I'll include that link when I send out that follow-up email so you can watch the whole video. False. It is compared to blues music in the video. Next question. If you want to learn more about Arkansas's natural wonders, this company will provide an educational experience. Is it Quapaw Canoes, Silamo Mountain Bike Trails, Tyson, or J.B. Hunt? Quapaw Canoes is the correct answer. Although J.B. Hunt might give you some educational experience on the outdoors, says one person. All right, Becky takes the lead. True or false? Quapaw means upstream people. Is that true or is that false? Three, two, one. False. It means downstream people. So props to those that remembered that from the video. Nikki regains the lead. Question 7. Who might you turn to for learning about backcountry flying? Rita Luttrell, Lucas Nunley, Caleb Talley, or Marsha Masters? I can tell you for sure who it's not.
I was going to say, if they miss this one, it's going to be pretty funny.
Lucas Nunley, who was the speaker in our video about Fly Oz. I don't know anything about backcountry flying.
Caleb, it looks like your time. Oh, Marsha and I got go boats.
True or false? Backcountry aviation is the epitome of stick and rudder flying. Answer is true. It is the epitome of stick and rudder flying. Right. Second to last question. In relation to the collaborative, what does GORP actually stand for? The Good Old Republican Party, Greenhouse Outdoor Recreation Program, Good Old Reel Fishing, or Global Outdoor Rural Population?
Actually like one of those that's false. Well, so did 8 other people.
It is Greenhouse Outdoor Recreation Program. our leaderboard's switching up. Let's see here. Last question. UA's collaborative is located in which Northwest Arkansas city? Is it Fayetteville, Bentonville, Lowell, or Rogers? Answer is Bentonville. All right, let's see who our top three are. Third place, Ren. Second place, Nikki. And first place, Amber. Congratulations, Amber, Nikki, and Ren, if you will. So I sent everybody an email with the Zoom link for tonight's event. If you are Amber, Nikki, or Ren, please shoot me an email so that I can associate your name with your correct email, and I'll plug that into Amazon and get your gift card out to you. So thank you, everybody, for, let me turn this off once more. Okay, come on now. Sorry, Zoom's not cooperating with me. All right, there we go. Thank you again for everyone who joined us, listened in this whole time. Appreciate it. I will be sending a follow-up email with contact information for our speakers tonight, with resources from our collaborating organizations here, the video links that we showed you, and we hope to see you on the next
November 8th.
November 8th. I'll also include a link to register for that event as well. So everybody have a good evening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, speakers. Thank you, Marcia. And thank you, teachers.